When I thought about my business going viral in 2021, not what I had in mind. How do you feel, Justin?
Tired. I need to go back to sleep.
It has been almost 2 weeks, and I have decided to stop being a baby. I'm just gonna have to make things work. I have things to do. I have people to see, people waiting on me, and I might still be coughing and sniffling, but it is what it is. So what we figured we would do is walk you through kind of a timeline of our symptoms, because we've had a lot of people ask us what it's been like and how rough it's been, and then also talk about the impact that it's had on each of our businesses. I think before that, though, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's reached out and said that they were sending us prayers and thoughts and support, and everybody's been super wonderful and super understanding. Okay, so here's how it all started. We don't know where we got sick from. I work from home. He had been doing mostly work from home. He hadn't had a lot of jobs out and about. So we're not 100% sure. He started getting symptoms first.
I had a little bit of a fever. I felt hot, and I had like the night sweats, and I was cold at night. And then I woke up and all that was gone. I didn't really have a fever anymore, but I felt like trash, just worn down. And Tara was like, "Oh, you should get up. It'll make you feel better." No.
Did I do that?
You did.
I don't remember that. And I was like, okay, if he's getting sick, I'm gonna start treating myself as though I'm sick. So we started doing all of the immune protocols that we possibly could throw at it. I felt like I was getting sick the day that he was getting sick. That night, I felt like it was coming on. Threw everything at it that I possibly could, and woke up the next morning feeling great. So I was like, sweet, I think I bypassed it. Like I hit it hard right in the beginning. I think I'm good. But I kept doing all of the same routines and protocols that he was doing while he was sick. And then probably about 4 or 5 days later, I was like, I'm probably good. Let up on all of that. And pretty much the next day started feeling like I was getting sick, and it was coming on really strong. Woke up the day after that, sick as a dog. I guess my first recommendation would be to don't let up on it, thinking that you're good. Like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, our symptoms were pretty much the same. They were just spread out to like almost a week apart. Like cold symptoms day 1, started to kind of get feverish off and on. Day 2, that's when the flu symptoms really started, and we started getting lots of aches and pains. Again, his day 2 was like almost a week before mine, but it was like the pain would congregate in really specific areas.
1 or 2 areas. Mine was like my hips.
Yeah.
And the back of my legs, like they just hurt so bad. Not like a soreness that you get from working out, but just like a throbbing.
Sharp. Mine was in the hips and in my knees, and it was so intense and like terrible. That was like, for me, that was like day 2 and 3. And then I realized, actually, this is a lot like what I get when I get an autoimmune flare-up, except my autoimmune flare-ups aren't as sharp of pains, and they don't congregate. It's like over my whole body. So this was a little bit more intense, and it was in fewer areas, but it was real similar to an autoimmune flare-up for me. So then I just kind of started treating it like an autoimmune flare-up, and anywhere that I was like, you know, putting oils, I was just putting it where I was feeling all of the achiness. I'm glad that we didn't have it at the exact same time, because I could make sure that he was like, let's do some juicing and let's doing supplements and, you know, get some rest. You're drinking enough water.
And vice versa after the first week.
I do remember one strange symptom that I had was like my vision was like wavy. If I looked at something with patterns, like you can't really tell, but like a weird pattern. And I don't know if that was because of like being feverish or what. The hardest part for me though, the first few days, was that with all of my spinal issues, with all my health issues, I have to go to the chiropractor every 7 to 10 days. And I was already at that 7 to 10 day mark when I started getting sick. And so I have to push it off now multiple weeks until you're better. But because I'm in bed, that always jacks up my neck. And the pain that I was getting from just neck pain, just needing my regular adjustment, on top of all the symptoms were starting to congregate there after a couple days. But I started getting migraines, but I feel like it was short-lived for us. And it never got into chest
Like your
symptoms.
chest and lungs? No, not at all. Maybe a little bit of a sore throat here and there, but it wasn't bad.
Mostly from like
all.
post-nasal drip. Didn't have like chest coughing, you know how you get that like rattling. Didn't have any congestion in the chest. Didn't have any shortness of breath. Didn't have any pain. It's been almost 3 weeks for him and almost 2 weeks for me, and it's like all right there. So for me, it's like all the secondary things that it was starting to create, that got to be really extreme. Around day 5 for me is when the taste and the smell started to
Let me tell you,
change.
that was weird and still is weird. Like I can't taste or smell much even still. But I did like a slice of lime and it didn't faze me at all. I couldn't taste anything. It's
So
really weird.
His was 100% smell, 100% taste. Mine was not. I could taste salt, but it was not very salty. So it was probably like 95% gone. I could taste sweet, no problem. Never had any problems with that. Could even kind of smell sweetness. My smell, I would say probably went to like 95% gone. My taste fluctuated between like 70 and 90%. Mine's already coming back a little bit. Where's yours at now?
Mine's a little bit like I can maybe smell like 2% still. And I can taste probably like 10 to 15%. Still to this day, my nose just like burns when I breathe through it.
Yeah.
Like it's super, super dry, but yet still stuffy, if that makes sense.
Around day 7-ish for me, I started feeling better. So I was like, I've got some client calls. Let me try to do those. And I felt fine through my client calls. Did a little bit of catch-up work, just little stuff, nothing major. And by the evening time, I was like, I should have stopped around 1 because I tanked so hard.
I'll feel pretty good and I'll go and do something for a couple hours and it'll wipe me out, and the brain fog is still there.
Yeah. Right now, almost 2 weeks in, the main thing is like just nasal type congestion. So post-nasal drip, still lots of clearing my throat, lots of ear issues. Those probably will not clear up until I can get in to see the chiropractor. Low-grade headache, again, that's just from my neck being out because I was in bed for so many days. My energy levels have not gone above like a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, and then they'll tank real sudden down to like a 1 or 2. If you're new here, we each have a separate business. I'm a coach and most of my business is online. He is a contractor and does finished carpentry. Justin's a solopreneur. He's still in his first 12 months of business. If he doesn't have hours to trade for dollars, he ain't got dollars. So
this week I've been taking like small jobs and really lining out like big jobs in the next month and a half.
Just hoping that by that time he's got the energy for it. He's just like slowly starting to get back out there. He's not doing a ton of marketing yet. He's kind of just working with current clients and getting those things re-lined up. And again, everybody's been super understanding and super helpful. My business is kind of already set up for me to be able to take off time when I need it. And that's because I have so many health issues, autoimmune disorders. Because I've had these issues before, I've designed my entire business to be able to run without me for periods of time. Not 100%, obviously, but for periods of time. Gonna try to do a meeting with my assistant and hopefully make sure she's good so that regardless of the pace I can move at this week, she's covered and not waiting on me too much. So fingers crossed we can get something done here. My assistant already knew what to do. Like if she gets that message from me, she knows like, okay, let me look at her list. Is there anything we can push off? Is there anything that I can do? I have an amazing assistant. She's so freaking wonderful. If she gets sick, like we're screwed. This happened right as our registration for the Inner Circle was closing, right as we hit 10K for the challenge. So there's a lot of things that we had planned to do that we were just like, you know what? It's first world problems. problems. It could be a lot worse. The timing could be a lot worse. Financially for my business, it doesn't have an impact because my business can run without me for a couple weeks at a time. This could be so much worse.
Yeah, we could be super sick.
We could be hospitalized. We could be having trouble breathing. We are just being really patient, really paceful, if that's a word, and just doing what we can to mitigate any lingering symptoms and to not make this any worse than it has to be, and hopefully get into the chiropractor really soon because I'm dying from that, not from COVID. Thank you again for everybody's support and understanding. Hopefully this is helpful to some of you to help you kind of start thinking ahead. Stuff like this happens in businesses, and it is really important to have these conversations and consider these things so that you can be set up for whatever life might throw your way over the next few years. And hopefully none of you are getting sick, or if you are, it is as moderate to mild as possible.
Minimum as possible, yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.